Yeah, go do the opening. We will do a hymn. You may not see it, but he gets a nice smile on his face about that. The applause and the hymn, or the song. So please rise if you're willing and able. First hymn is number 21 in the gray hymnal, For the Beauty of the Earth, which is pretty much our subject today. Bill.
For the beauty of the earth, for the splendor of the skies, for the love which from our birth over and around us lies, source of all, to thee we praise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of ear and eye, for the heart and mind's delight, for the mystic harmony, linking sense to sound and sight, source of all, to thee we praise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the wonder of each hour, of the day and of the night, hill and vale and tree and flower, sun and moon and stars of light, source of all, to thee we praise, this our hymn of grateful praise. For the joy of human care, sister, brother, parent, child, for the kinship we all share, for the gentle hearts and mild, source of all, to thee we raise, this our hymn of grateful praise.
Thank you. Have a seat. Mark that one off the list. Okay, welcome. So now's a good time to silence your cell phones. I just did mine because it's gone off on occasion. So ours is a welcoming community where, well, you ought to know who I am. I'm Ken Willingham. I'm your worship leader this morning. Forgot that detail. So ours is a welcoming community where we find connection and meaning, a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. We also welcome guests from Facebook Live and our Zoom audience. We welcome everyone, no matter who you are. All are welcome here. Our musician today is Bill Heminger, quite the pianist. Our tech person is Molly out in the office, and Nancy, who's running the service from here. And do we have any visitors this morning? She's not a visitor, but she's getting up anyway. Oh, okay.
Now Barb Bites decided it was time to give us a news.
Okay. Okay, with them. Were there any online visitors?
Not today, just us old timers.
So it's time for church announcements. Any announcements about the church, for the church, by the church, whatever?
Good morning. Well, first of all, I want to mention the Circle Supper. Hopefully everyone who wanted to sign up did, because hopefully everyone has been in touch with their groups now. You know what you're doing, you have your plans, everything's all set. If you signed up and you didn't get my email for some reason or another, please let me know and I'll give you more information. But we should be good to go on all of that by this time, because Circle Supper is on Saturday. We have less than a week. The next announcement I want to make is about the upcoming first trial, first event of our happy hour film on Thursday, the 26th. If this goes well, we will do this the fourth Thursday of every month. Our first film will be, remind me, Jules. I keep wanting to say Juno, and I know that's not right. Will be Jules. We have found, with Nancy's help, a group of films that we can show without paying royalties on it. And we have gone through quite a few of them, found a lot of good ones that looked interesting, but this one is a little lighthearted, a little tender, a little sweet, a little fun, and we think it'll be a good one to start. So if you are interested in attending, we will begin, the doors will open at 5:30, and we will begin the film at 6 o'clock. Bring something to share, something to eat and drink, and we hope to see quite a few of you then. And like I said, if it goes well, then we are going to do this the fourth, is it the fourth? The fourth Thursday of every month, yes. So the 26th is our first event. Thank you.
Excuse me. Good morning. I just wanted to draw your attention to the weekly emails. Gordon Harding has put forward some information about our involvement with CAGE, and we're in the process of trying to figure out or listen to people about what concerns them in terms of issues at our CAGE, which is a ecumenical church-based community organization. And we have looked into a number of issues about safety and education and affordable housing, things like that. But we do like to hear from people about what might be of concern to them. So if you would find that email and respond to it, so please do. If you have any other questions about CAGE, I'll be happy to answer them after service. So thank you.
It's time to start getting excited for the Fall Festival. It's just a couple weeks away. I brought our full menu minus the drinks for people to sample today. Afterwards, the pudding is still in the fridge. I'll have to get it out. There's going to be signups very soon to work in the booth or also to cook at the church. We're keep trying to make it easy. So if you're in the booth, you don't have to cook. And if you're cooking here, then you don't have to, find parking and make your way down to the booth. So it's easy recipes. It's just, if you can boil water and run a mixer, you're good. You'll be able to handle it. So, also, I brought to-go containers. Do not make me take all of the leftover food home.
I'm going to backpack on what Celeste said. There is a QR code out front to scan to sign up to work at the Fall Festival booth. And there is a link in the weekly newsletter for that, and that'll be running through the Fall Festival. If anyone needs help with that, like if you're not sure how to scan the QR code, please don't hesitate to ask for help. That's what we're here for. So if you need help signing up for some reason, I know sometimes we're used to the handwritten, signups, but this will help us streamline everything. So if you need help, just let somebody know. Thanks.
Made it. Yeah. JD Vance was on both of my Sunday morning news shows, and I couldn't stand it twice in a row, so made it for morning announcements. Okay, so Celeste and Ashley got most of the Fall Fest. I will say they're much nicer about it. Please, everybody, sign up for hopefully one shift. Like Celeste said, we've streamlined it a lot. It's easier to do nowadays. I think folks who did it last year can attest to the fact that it went a lot smoother than maybe in years. We try to simplify and make it easier. It is a couple $1,000s for the church and stuff that we can do, just fixing things or putting on movie nights, all these types of things. So please do. A couple things that didn't make it into the Compass this week or this month because I didn't get my article in on time. We had our board meeting on Wednesday last week, but I want everybody to know, and I'll put it in the newsletter, that we have created an ad hoc committee around Chalice House. It's being led by Steve Ford and Molly at this point. I know Ken has also expressed interest, but if you have some desire to be part of that, please contact Steve when he's feeling better, hopefully we'll hear. But we do want to take a look at that, and we are going to have a mid-year meeting to talk about some of the options. We won't make a decision until our annual meeting, but I know that that's a very kind of charged, emotional type of conversation. So we're going to have a couple of those. And for those of you who may not know, the Chalice House is a little house that we technically own next door that doesn't work a lot at this point. And then the other one that, just so everybody knows, Kendall Hoskins is on the board this year, and she volunteered, and the board created a committee on community outreach, church outreach, trying to, again, create more outward engagement. We're doing a lot of things internally, but trying to create some more outward engagement, reaching out to the colleges, trying to get more people to come into the church as a community. So again, if you're interested in some of the community outreach stuff, if you have a group that needs a place to gather, and we want to start having them maybe gather here, reach out to Kendall and give your 2 cents. Thanks. That's it.
Okay, nobody's jumped up, so that must be it.
I've got one.
Oh, you do? I thought.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that Ashley has added a link to both in our newsletter and on our webpage, so that people who aren't at church can get the week's order of service. So if you're watching in Facebook or you're on Zoom, you can go to our webpage and click that link to get the order of service. Thank you.
Okay. So each week we spend a few minutes stepping across the aisle to greet and welcome each other this fine day. And I'll hit the chime when it's time to head back to your seats. Go for it. Thank you, Bill. May I have a volunteer, please, to light the chalice? Yay. It's all dipped and ready to go. We light our chalice as a symbol of the light within us and the life that flows through the world around us. It is our beacon as we search for truth. It is the warmth in our hearts for love. And it is the energy that propels us to action. May we be kindled by our time together. Thank you. As we approach the time of our offering, give what you will, for the church church that has meant so much to you, for the church has met, let me try this again, please. As we approach the time of our offering, give what you will. For the church that has meant so much to you, for the church has meant so much to those who came before you, and for the church that will mean so much to people you will never know, give what you will, for you are generous people. May I have 2 volunteers, please? Uno, dos. Thank you very much for your generosity, and we'll see if we can do something really good with it. Story for all ages. May I have the person who I volunteered come up, please?
Unless there are people that want to come sit on the floor, I'll do it up here. If you want to come forward, I'll move down there. Okay. All right, the book is called I'll Take Care of You. See the pretty front on it. Actually, see the pretty insides. They don't have any words, but they're still pretty. The sky, the water, and the earth saw it, and their hearts bloomed. The earth said to the seed, "Don't be afraid, I'll take care of you," and welcomed it to its sweet, soft soil. The water said to the seed, "Don't be afraid, I'll take care of you," and watered it with crystal clear droplets of rain. The sky said to the seed, "Don't be afraid, I'll take care of you," and made the bright, warm sun rise. The seed took heart. It grew and became a tiny shoot. It grew and became a sapling. It grew and eventually became a magnificent leafy tree in full bloom. One day, a single bird arrived, a tiny blackcap. The tree saw how lost and lonely the little bird looked and said, "Stay here and build your nest in my branches. I'll take care of you." The blackcap took heart. She built her nest in the branches of the tree and felt safe and protected. One day, she laid an egg. She sat on it patiently until the shell cracked and a tiny chick hatched. "I'll take care of you," the black cat said. She kept it warm and taught it how to sing and fly. When the time came, the chick grew strong and left the nest. The blossoms of the tree lost their petals and slowly turned into apples. Lost control of my book there. All but one. One seed fell among the rocks without any soil or sun or rain, and the tree's crown hung as it wept for the dying seed. "Don't worry, I'll take care of our tiny one," said the black cap. Quickly, she swooped down from her nest in the tree. Carefully, she picked up the tiny seed in her beak and gave it to the earth. Patiently, she waited, hoping it would grow and singing with all her heart, until one day she saw a tiny shoot appear. The end.
Thank you very much, Sharon. She does a good job with stories. Finally found my scribing instrument. Are we singing Children Out? Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the Lord of joy surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Thank you. Our opening words today from Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound in fear of what my life and what my children's lives might be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. So each week, we take a few moments to sit in quiet meditation. Just be aware of your breath. You can meditate, you can do whatever you want. Pray, just sit in silence. It does not matter. Just be aware of how large you really are. Your heart, the strongest place in your body, the most electrically functional, is far more power than your brain does. And your heart extends out as far as 2 meters in all directions. Just be aware of that because it intersects with those around you. I'll call you out in a few minutes and we'll do number 123 in the gray hymnal, Spirit of Life. is my joy to introduce Caroline Nellis, who is going to give us our talk today. And she's given me the opportunity to use, for the first time, the pedestal I built for this. Be up taller.
Can everybody hear me pretty well? It's first, thank you all for having me, and it's really nice to see a lot of faces I already know, like Tom and Dane from Veterans for Peace, and Willow from our drum circle. You may know her as Patty, and also Barb and Ken from Barb and I were in a writers group together for many years. So I'm going to talk about a local nonprofit that I started, but I'll just give you a little brief reason why I started it. It's called Tri-State Creation Care. And in 1987, I was backpacking for about a half a year around Southeast Asia, and I came across a missionary there who was working on reforestation, and I got to see climate change because India has so many people who were using all the trees for either heating purposes or cooking purposes. India is pretty stripped. And so it was experiencing climate change a long time before it's hitting the rest of the world. They had been in a 3-year drought when I was there, and the animals were so emaciated, you could see their bones, people the same way. And when I went back a dozen years later to film a documentary about that reforestation project, they were in the opposite. It was raining, and the man who was in control of that reforestation project told me that they were sometimes getting rain as much as 5 inches in an hour. So he called them the toad smashers. So what India was experiencing, seeing it firsthand and the devastation that it caused, I was really concerned about climate change. And as a writer, I was doing an article, I did an interview with a climatologist, one of the world's most famous climatologists. He was from Henderson, Kentucky, and he came back to visit his family. And while he was here, I did an interview with him, and he said at the time, this was back in probably the middle 90s, somewhere around there, he started talking about the storms that were coming, the terrific tornadic activity and stuff that was going to be occurring in the future. And he said, all of us climatologists, when we have our meetings, the only 2 groups that show up are the climatologist and the insurance industry. No one else is listening to us. And I think what he was predicting is starting to come true. I mean, we saw a lot of tornadic activity here in Evansville this year. It's definitely on the increase. It's not just the hurricanes that are being fed by the warmer waters. But anyway, all of that was of concern to me, and I had voiced that a number of times to a friend of mine, Ann Ennis, and I don't know how many of you know her. Am I still talking loud enough, or can you hear me? Okay. Ann is the past director of Operation, they call it Keep Evansville Beautiful now. It used to be Operation Evansville Beautiful. But anyway, Ann called me back in March of 2015, and she said, you know, I know how concerned you are about this, and I was looking in a Mary Knoll missionary magazine, and they showed that there was a woman that grew up here in Evansville, became a missionary, and she's worked on climate issues, teaching regenerative agricultural practices, first in Africa and then in the rainforest in Central America. And her name's Sister Janet Miller. I think since this is a rather conservative area with a lot of conservative Catholics and you want to get them aboard thinking about climate change, why don't you have her come and talk? And I thought, well, that's a good idea, but I think climate change doesn't belong to any one particular religion. We're in a situation now because all over the world is so polarized politically, nothing is hardly being done at the legislative level. So if we need change to occur rapidly, and if that's going to happen, I think the only way that can happen is that people of faith, all the faiths, link arms and try to make a change occur. That was my feeling. And so we invited Sister Janet to be our first speaker, which I started Tri-State Creation Care to have that conference. We also invited, we had Buddhist, Native American, Jewish, Catholic and Protestant, and Muslim speaker that day, so that everybody could talk about how their religion views various, about creation care. How does your religion, what does it think humans' responsibility is towards the earth? So Tri-State Creation Care got born out of that first event. And we've been holding an annual conference every year since then. We are actually we hold the largest environmental or sustainability conference that Evansville holds each year is our event. And we also, we do go around to various congregations and try to get them to come aboard as green congregations. How can they do better about not using styrofoam? What kind of things can they use to be more energy efficient? So we have our green teams that we work with at different congregations. We have one of our board members is really involved in clean air across the state. And Barbara was nice enough to mention that I won an award, but also the week before me, another of our board members, Dr. Shaw from up at the Islamic Center, their Islamic Center of Evansville won the top award for being green in all of North American mosques. And that's right here in Evansville, Indiana. So I think we need to be very proud of that. And Dr. Shaw was actually in the original group that came. I sent out, when I was trying to organize that first conference, I sent out a request to all people of all different kinds of religions to come to a meeting and discuss it. And that first meeting, it was Dr. Shaw and I sitting across from each other. And if he hadn't shown up, if there hadn't been one person besides myself, I think it would have all fallen through. So thanks to his being there, we've gradually expanded, and now I think we have a pretty good impact. Besides the annual conferences, we have usually about 6 public events a year where we talk about pollinators or various, how to make your home more energy efficient. So we have those, and then this year we also combined with Wesselman Nature Center, and we had a religion and ecology, and it was kind of on the same theme. What do each of the religions think? And we had Zach Garcia out at Westman Woods did most of the putting that together for us, even though we partnered with them trying to help feed into it. But it was a partnership of Tri-State Creation Care and Wesselman Woods. And they've had pretty good participation. They had about 35 people, 30 to 35 at each of the different religions talking. So, and then 3 years ago, we instituted the first ever electric vehicle cruise-in event here in Evansville. And the reason I started that, when I first, I thought maybe regenerative agriculture would be important to do around this area because agriculture puts in a lot to do. If you can get cover crops, then in the wintertime, they're absorbing carbon. And if you have, if you build up the soil, you have to put less fertilizer in, which again, those are putting in fertilizers, fossil fuel fertilizers definitely have an effect. But But when I did a forum for regenerative agriculture, I found out that the people around this area, the Soil and Water Conservation District people, did a fantastic job. They know a lot, and they really don't need my help. So the next aspect I looked at was transportation puts a lot of greenhouse gas emissions, which affect climate change. So we started in 2022, we had the first electric vehicle cruise in, and it also provided test drives so that people could actually check out what the drives were about. And that first year, we partnered with a classic car cruise-ins because we didn't know how many people we could attract on our own, but it proved viable. So last year, we split off and we had a standalone event at the iCamp Scout Center, and Dane was there. Yeah, and I think Barbara, weren't you there also? Yeah, so I thought. And this year, because of all the traffic that's going on, we will be holding it not at the iCamp Scout Center, which we had planned, but we're going to move it over to the Evansville Day School, which I think is going to be a really nice site. And we're trying to make it like a fall Earth Day. It's not just a cruise-in. People do get the opportunity to go talk to people who own electric vehicles, and some people that are there have owned their vehicles since 2015, so they've had 9 years of checking out how electric vehicles work in all kinds of situations. So we have the opportunity, the attendees can ask questions and, what is your range? How does it perform in hot, cold? You get to ask those kind of questions. And then the EV auto dealers bring both plug-in hybrids and straight electric vehicles for people to test drive. And I think we're going to have at least 15 new vehicles for people to test drive this year. And we'll have probably at least 20, there are a couple others that are coming for display only, but I think we'll have probably at least 20 people in the cruise-in section also. So there should be, I would think, about 40 vehicles for people to check out. But we also we'll have about 17 exhibitors, and those people, what we're trying to do is we realize that not everybody, including myself, has the money to own or purchase an electric vehicle. So we want to offer any kind of a product that will help cut greenhouse gas emissions. So we have somebody who sells electric bikes, people who have battery-operated lawn and garden equipment. So if you can't buy a Porsche Taycan, you can buy a battery-operated lawnmower or leaf blower. And we have somebody who shows for solar installations. We have a lady who wrote a book about that man that I did my documentary on, the guy that I learned about in India. She's related to him, and she wrote a book about him, so she's going to be there selling that book, a children's book. We have a whole variety. We have kids' activities because we want this to be a family-friendly event. So New Tech Institute and North High School both have really highly acclaimed robotics teams. So they're coming and doing demonstrations, both of those high schools. Central Library is bringing their outreach department to do STEM activities with the kids. We have a group from Owensboro that are bringing butterflies over that are still in the chrysalis so people can watch them actually emerging that day. And one of the ladies who's on that team is a very excellent butterfly photographer. And so she's also going to be passing out tips if you want to do butterfly photography. She'll be talking about that. We have celebrity drivers to lead off the cruises, and we've done that all 3 years, picking people that are influencers in the community to actually lead off the test drives. And I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. the very first year amongst the 4 that we had for celebrity drivers, one of them was we had the U of E new basketball coach, and we also had the USI new men's basketball coach. And when Stan Gerard finished driving his EV, he said, "Man, I wish you guys had had this 2 months ago." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "My wife wanted a new car. I just purchased one. We won't be buying another one for 2 years, but I promise you, after having driven one, how fast they go, how maneuverable they are," he said, "our next purchase will be an electric vehicle." And I think if we can get those influencers in the community, if people see them driving electric, they're more likely to try it too. Last year, one of our celebrity drivers was Sheriff Noah Robinson, and he had never been in one. And when he got out, he said, "Man, they go fast." And they do. I mean, you're talking 60 miles per hour in about 3 seconds. And now they got donations, and they got the first ever electric vehicle Tesla Cruiser donated, and he's going to have that at this year's event. So anybody that wants to ride along in the sheriff's car with him and go out and take a ride along with him in the EV can do that. We have music. We're going to have Monty Skelton, and he's excellent, and his percussionist, Dekar. I don't know if I'm saying is it Dakar or Decker? I don't know. Excellent percussionists. They're going to be playing for the first 2 hours. It's Saturday, September the 28th, from noon to 4 at the Evansville Day School. And so their band will be playing the first 2 hours, and then the last 2 hours it's going to be it's a DJ. About $125,000. He said, "If you're going the first time ever, why not go big?" So he didn't choose the Chevy, he chose the Porsche Taycan. So, and we have all the way from Chevys and Nissans all the way up through. So there's a whole gamut of possibilities. And if people are nervous about the range, having the plug-in hybrids is a good option. As the world is in transition right now, we don't have enough EV charging stations, although because of the Inflation Reduction Act, there are stations being put in every 50 miles on all the major highways in the United States, and that should be completed within the next couple of years. So when that happens, it's going to make it a lot more feasible for all of us. Originally, it was supposed to be done by the end of next year, but I think, there's been some holdups, so I think it's going to be probably a year away before they have the whole network set up, providing we don't have a change of administration to Trump, because I think he would nix that whole thing. But anyway, I think you would really enjoy it. I think having a fall Earth Day helps us to remind us all that we're a part of the network, that we truly are, the whole of life is a net, and anything that is done to one part impacts all the other parts. I think humanity is starting to realize that. We always thought we were the dominant species, and what we wanted, we could kind of control the rest of it. But the reality is, nature is so much bigger, and everything we tried to control has kind of messed a lot of other things up. So once we realize we're just a part of it, and we need to be in harmony with the rest of it, I think the better everybody off will be. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, yeah, Dane? Where's the day school at? Day school is, it's on North.
Repeat his question.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Dane asked where the day school is, and it is on 3400 North Green River Road, which is almost just a little bit south and on the west side of the street from Lynch, the intersection of Lynch and Green River Road. And we'll have a sign out front in some way to let people know where to turn in at. But it's nice grounds. We'll have all the kids' activities outside and the vendors, the celebrity drivers. We have real nice door prizes. If I can't lure you any other way, we'll be giving away a $100 bill every hour on the half hour. And we have some other real nice door prizes that were donated to us from, but like even stained glass, handmade art pieces. We've got a number of those to give away. We've got quarts of honey, BFIT membership. Mesker Zoo gave us a whole family packet of passes and tickets to give away. So even if you stop by for an hour or a half hour, I think that lets the dealers, who some of them have ended up sponsoring this year's event because they had good reaction from last year. It lets them know that people are interested and they are more likely to continue participating. Because we want this event to grow. I don't know that we'll always stay a part of National Drive Electric Week. When hydrogen powered cars come in, when some of the other clean energies, we'll want them to be represented at our event too. And National Drive Electric Week only allows us to have electric vehicles there. So I think we're going to grow it, but it will continue to be around clean energy and making the world healthy and sustainable. And if we can keep it promoted now when it's young, that event will continue to grow. I think, we have the West Side Fall Festival, we have Germania Manicore's Vogue Fest, we have the Evansville Iron Street Rods Frog Fest. I think we would like that this would grow to be a large community event that continues for years and is wrapped around how we can make the earth better for the generations that come after us. So. Yeah, Dane?
Yeah, I do have a question. You can correct me if I'm wrong. First, I want to say I got to drive 2 vehicles last year, and they are very sexy. And I believe the Chevy Volt a year ago, that was going for $25,000, which puts that in the range of the average person. And the Tesla's lowered their price. Tesla's made their charging stations, which are dependable, reliable. Now they have an adapter so other vehicles can charge at their charging stations. The question I have is, I think I heard about a year ago on Nova. Human beings have the intelligence to see what's coming, the fires that are unbelievable now, and the hurricanes, tornadoes, and all that. But I believe I heard say, for the first time in my life, that this is reversible, that there is a way to get the carbonization out of the air. If we could do that, we could kind of turn things back a little bit. But one huge contribution to that would be electric vehicles, and that they contribute something like maybe 1/4 of the pollution, carbonization of the air in the world would convert to electric vehicles. We might do something very, very significant in terms of reducing carbonation of the planet. Is that correct?
I've heard different amounts, and I've heard sometimes 14%, and I don't know if that's 14 around here or if that's 14% globally. I've heard others as high as 25%. So I don't really know, I can't give you an exact figure on that, but it is definitely one of the highest contributors. So if we can do something about that, Toyota, right here in our area, is going to be producing, I think it'll be by the end of next year, they'll have a line open that will be making SUV EVs from our area. So things are happening. The world is in transition, and this decade, I think we're going to see more changes than we could ever imagine, and it's important. So.
AAA magazine did recommend if you're not quite ready to go all electric, go to the plug-in version.
Mm-hmm.
The best of both worlds, maybe for the next decade or so, until they got the batteries all the way along.
I think that's a good idea, and that's why there will be several plug-in hybrids there for people to check out this year.
The vehicle travels maybe 20 miles a day, so you'd be mainly driving most of the time on electric.
I'm going to hire you. You're a good salesperson. I love it. All right, thanks.
Speaking about batteries, currently the biggest problem with electric vehicles is batteries because they have a liquid lithium ion, which is, you can stay up here. You're not done. I'm not done. You're not done. You are not finished. I'll let you know.
Oh, okay. Okay, boss.
Okay. So the liquid batteries are the biggest problem. Toyota, yesterday I saw on the news that Toyota has been given the first, wish I could remember all this stuff, been given the first contract to build a solid state battery, which has anywhere from 2 to 4 times or 6 times the range, and they're much lighter. It's the weight of the batteries, which is the biggest problem, and why tires on electric vehicles wear out much faster and put a lot more particulate in the air because of how fast they wear out tires. New batteries are so much lighter, the solid states, much more range, much more durability, much lighter in weight. It's going to make a significant change with the tire life, the range, and just sustainability. So that is a good thing. And you can bet that battery will end up being here too, from Japan to here to these vehicles eventually.
You see the China model where they, most of their vehicles that are like taxi-cab things in Beijing and other big cities, they change out the whole battery structure. Now they're not big battery, they're a smaller battery, but they change out the whole unit in less than 5 minutes. They drive out some crap old less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, what Dave was saying, China's model is a removable, replaceable battery, much like taking the batteries out of your cell phone, or no, out of a flashlight. Cell phones don't have changeable batteries anymore, but just replacing the battery, and it's a 5-minute operation that takes care of the battery life for recharging. Ones you get put in are recharged, ones that go out are dead, ready to have a recharge. So yes, that model is probably feasible, and with the solid state batteries, it's much more feasible. Okay.
I just thought I should give one warning. If a person has a pacemaker, they probably do not want an electric vehicle. So that's something you should be aware of. At least talk to your physician, because some of the models, actually, the electricity impacts the pacemaker. So you do want to be careful of that. But other than that, I think we're on our way to making the world cleaner. We just have to do it pretty quickly, because as things are occurring, as all those fires are going on, they're putting a lot more carbon back up in the air. So as everything dries out, the amount of carbon that's going up is from nature itself is accelerating. So we have to try to keep everything from getting way out of whack, and the severe weather causing lots and lots of droughts. We don't want any more fires than we're already getting. So, yes. Yeah, that, like I said, the Inflation Reduction Act is putting up every 50 miles on all major highways across the whole United States. And that will probably be finished by the end of 2026. It was originally supposed to be 2025, but I don't think they're going to make it because they got some holdups. But it's coming.
Yeah, the question was, is something being done to increase the number of recharge stations and viability of electric cars? Yes, which you answered.
Thank you. Yeah, that's.
They cannot hear the question online.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, Dane?
Up until this year, for 3 years straight, all the car manufacturers. If you watch like Motor Trend Week on PBS or even Jay Leno's show, they always feature
Jeff Lyons was one of our celebrity drivers last year, and he chose a real sporty car. He said, "I have always loved fast cars," and so he got the sports car, and when he got back, I said, "What did you think?" And he said, "Pretty nice." So I think once you've driven one, it gives you a different feeling. They are sporty.
One of the comments I'll make, I watch MotoGP.
Saturday, September the 12th through the 4th.
What?
Don't know, what was said?
Is that this weekend?
Oh,
Or do they already have it?
Anyway, MotoGP is the world-class motorcycle racing. They have a class, Moto E, that then they do two races.
Sound like they were getting ready to have it.
One race on a weekend, all electric motorcycles. And they go just about as fast as the real high-powered bikes. It's pretty amazing to watch, especially when they're leaned over 60-plus degrees going through corners.
McGregor from movie actor and stuff, he's done 3 almost hour and a half motorbike trips in his off thing. And the last one he did, they had an all electric vehicle. He and his buddy drove, I think, in South America with electric motorcycles.
we've got an electric motorcycle that's going to be at our event, so people can check it out. We're going to have electric pickup trucks. I was hoping we were going to have a school bus, but I don't think that's going to happen. But lots of other things.
Okay, thank you, Caroline. Caroline, make sure to stick around for a few minutes. Find out where I'm at here. The closing hymn, and Barbara's favorite, Blue Boat Home. It's in the 1064 in the Teal hymnal. And please stand if you're willing and able.
Low below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my
extinguish our chalice. Find the words in the order of service. We extinguish this flame hearts till we are together again. Got 3 short poems for closing, or comments. Sustainability, ensuring the future of life on Earth, is an infinite game. The endless expression of generosity on behalf of all. It's from Paul Hawken. What we are doing to the forests of the world is but a minor reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another. Mahatma Gandhi. If people destroy something replaceable made by mankind, they are called vandals. If they destroy something irreplaceable made by God, they are called developers. Joseph Wood Crutch. Yeah, that's pretty powerful. Joseph Wood Crutch. I just threw my order of service on the ground. So thank you for being here today. And may you all bless the world with your presence. Bye.